What's up? My name's Megiddo, and today we are unboxing the Pioneer Ddj Rr. Here we go. So you may be asking, Megiddo, why exactly are you unboxing another controller? I thought you already had the Pioneer Ddj Rr. And you are correct, I do. So the thing is, I've got a couple of shows. I'm going to Mexico next week. Oh yes. So I finished my album Pressure a couple of weeks ago, and my wife and I are taking a vacation, but I'm also going to do something called the Mexico Sessions, where I'm going to be DJing in Cancun, Mexico, and I'm so pumped. So I've recently made the switch from Traktor using the S4 to the Pioneer Ddj Rr, and then also Record Box, so that I could, if I ever had to play on CDJs, it would be a seamless transition. I wouldn't have to do a whole lot of extra work because all my tracks will be analyzed. But the only problem with the Ddj Rr is the fact that when you're flying, like I'm going on tour to the Netherlands in September. The problem is with the Ddj and the Rr in the case, it's like over 70 pounds, which is like so much extra money when you're trying to check a bag. So I decided that for live shows, I'm gonna need something more compact so that I can fly. So I'm hoping that the size of this is comparable to the Traktor S4. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. Get this box out of the way. Whoa. Woo! One of my big issues with Traktor and the S4 is the fact that the tempo fader doesn't have a clicky center. And I got so used to that when I was beat matching and mixing tracks that it was really bothering me when I tried to do a mix within Traktor. So if you're looking for Traktor S4 that has been taken care of really well and has lots of accessories, comment below or send me a message and I'll get in touch. Okay, so to start off with the unboxing, this is a 2-channel mixer. So let's go ahead and open this bad boy. Dun, da, da, da. Okay. Let's see here. Does it want to open? Okay, it opens like this. Jum, 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 jum. So we have the power brick, and I'm assuming a USB cable. And then, I don't see anything else underneath there. The actual controller. So let's move this box to the side. I always like to keep my boxes in case I ever sell something, especially for controllers or anything like that. Easy does it. Easy does it. So yes, my new album Pressure is about to come out. It has got such a variety of EDM. I'm very excited about it, and it'll be in the link below in this video if you would like to check it out or listen. Here on my channel, I love to provide practical music production advice, as well as things that I would want to know as a music producer. Okay, so let's check it out. Ooh. First impressions. Testing out the jog wheels. Here's what it looks like first off. Dun, 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 dun. I'll pause right in the middle so you can check that out. That's what it looks like. And then up close, I'll do some more close-ups. And then here's the plugs. Here's the other side. So first impressions when I put it in front of me. Okay, the big thing for me is that the tempo fader feels nice and heavy, and there is a clicky center, so that is super awesome. That's really important. Okay, the faders feel super heavy. I would probably say much more heavier than on the RZ, the DDJ RZ. And of course, like the jog wheels, they feel a little looser than I usually like to have them. I usually like to have mine with a little bit more weight on them. They still feel comparable to the S4, the Tractor S4, if you're familiar with that. The clickiness of the buttons feel just as clicky as the RZ, the DDJ RZ. When I say RZ, I'm talking about Pioneer DDJ RZ. Let's see here. Nice clicky center, knowing that you're right in the middle. Faders feel a little plasticky, but what are you gonna say? This is a mixer for under $1,000. The mixing knob feels good, feels like the RZ. Okay, I'm just taking a look at everything, just first impressions. I like that for the headphone jack there is a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch jack. The tempo faders are a lot smaller, so I am curious to see how well I can beat match and adjust the tempo, because if it's smaller, then the more you move, it will move the tempo more compared to a longer fader, because you have less room. So I'm interested to see how well that works out. Hopefully it'll be okay. There's a master level, there's a booth monitor, there is headphone mixing, which is very important from the Q to the master channel, and then you've got a sync, and then you actually have a sampler and a sampler volume on here. Then you have the Q, a sync button, a play pause button. Then you have 8 pads, and the pads feel nice. They feel similar to the quality on the DDJ RZ. Let's see here, and then you've got hot cue, pad effects, slicer, sampler, and then you've got your second deck. If you press shift, then you have some extra effects. Okay, so let's take a look what's in this bag, and let's plug it in to see how it looks. I'm more interested in just a second, I have this S4 right on the ground over here. I'm gonna do a side-by-side comparison so you can see how big it is compared to the S4, if you're curious, because I'm not sure if you have a Guitar Center or anywhere close to you that has one of these, or the S4. And I'm sure you're curious as to whether or not this is a perfect, I will say this is the perfect size to fly with. If you want to put it in a backpack and fly. I had the Magma DJ backpack. I'll put it in there in a second and show you that this is going to fit perfectly. In fact, I think, well, I'll do the side by side in a second. So anyways, you've got trim right here, basically your gain knobs. Then you've got high, medium, and low, and a filter knob as your standard EQ. And then you can adjust your decks, and then it also has, if you had wanted turntables, you could also assign a turntable as well. It has tempo range, tempo sync, which is great. So basically, if you press shift and then hit the tempo, it'll go from like +6, I think +10, and then I think the full range of the tempo. And then up at top you have your mixer, you have your you have some effects, and then also an effects release button, which is perfect because if you've got all your delay and reverb, and then right before the drop you want all your effects to turn off, you just click that. That's the same on the DDJ RZ. Okay, I mean everything is very similar, basically just less because it's less money. I don't think this is a Megiddo fader. I can tell just by how heavy it doesn't feel, but I've started mixing with just faders instead of the crossfade. It has a level right here for the loudness of your headphone jack, and then it also has a mic level. And then, okay, so I'll just kind of go through here. We have the booth outputs that are 1/4 inch, and then you have two different types of master outputs. You have RCA or XLR, and then you have two RCAs that can come in basically from turntables if you wanted to use turntables, and then you have a 1/4 inch mic in, and then USB, and then your power, your DC power, and then you've got a power lock, and then a nice power button. I like the power button. You also have a Kensington lock. I don't know who uses that. Probably nobody, unless you're in like some sketchy area. Okay, so jog wheels, I still wish they were a little bit heavier. Let me see. I think the Tractor S4 jog wheels are a little heavier than these, but it just may be because there's more circumference. So let's continue. Comes with your power brick, okay, which appears to be nice and long, which is very important because you always need long cables just in case. Plug this in. Okay. And I've got a couple of things over here. I've got my MacBook, all of which I want to test out to see if I can use in Mexico. When I play in Mexico, I am going to have a camera set up on the beach or some very nice place to look at while I DJ, and I'm going to run the mix into this so that the cameras can hear the audio and then sync it with what is recorded onto the computer. So basically this is just a Bluetooth speaker by Photiv. I like this speaker, it's great. And then I have a stereo 1/4 inch cable to 1/8 inch mono, and basically I'm going to run that directly into the speaker so that my cameras can sync up. Okay, so it comes with a USB as well, which is always nice. So I'm going to turn it on, and when it comes on, the colors, everything kind of fades in with the colors, and I'll kind of show you a close-up later on, or I'll do a close-up over as I'm talking to you right now. Really nice colors, and then the colors shut off. Alright, so I'm just going to take my laptop. So the first thing that comes up when Rekordbox, it says audio driver installed. Do you want to install the Ddj Rr? And I'm just going to say install. This is real time, people. This is exactly what you'll go through. Okay? And then now it's telling me that there is a new firmware update. So I'm going to go to the website for Pioneer DJ because they just did an update for the fader to make it more accurate, and we'll really test that out. I'm really going to test that out. So what you have to do to get your controller ready to install your firmware update on any Pioneer controller, hold down Shift and Sync, and then while holding it down, press the power button. And then on the fader right here, it may be different for the RZ, I can't remember, but right here on the master, it's going to be a red light blinking, and that's how you know you're ready to install your firmware. So now I am just going to click on the firmware on my computer, and my computer is connected to the hardware, and I am going to run the firmware update from 1.02 to 1.04 start, and then it basically starts updating the firmware on the actual controller. Okay, and it says that it's now complete. I press OK, turn off the mixer, turn it back on. Pretty lights. It has lights in the middle, but they don't rotate. And the pads light up and the Q buttons light up, which are very important, especially in the dark. Okay, so I've got to set the decks. There we go. I've got to set the decks. I had it set to phono for some reason. Alright, so I'm going to load the tracks. I'll just load some of my tracks that I just came out with so you can take a listen. So now I'm just going through this speaker right here. I'm going to turn the speaker all the way up. Okay. And then so that's the booth. That's the booth audio coming out. Okay. Let me hear how it sounds in my headphones. Sounds pretty good. Good level. The volume knob is right here. It turns up the headphones, and then you can mix between what's in the master and what's being queued, so you can properly cue your track.
We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the fire to take you so higher. We got the
So basically all the pad effects that I have set up.
When I'm frustrated, we're golden. When we're golden.
Sorry for the audio, it's a crappy speaker, so.
When I close my eyes, I can see your face.
I like how heavy the tempo faders are because it makes it is a lot. Right now I have it set to plus 16, and it is very easy for me to, let's see if I can, I'm at 128 right now, and it's very easy for me to like just hit 140 on the dot, 140.0 on the dot very quickly, and then I would have to really open it up wide. Let's see, shift. If I wanted to get to 150, because it is sort of a feature-based track. So to get to that 150, let's see if I can lock in on it. It gets me, it's really hard. I can't get it to lock in to 150.0, which drives me crazy because I'm OCD, sort of, not really, but I mean, I like it to be everything correct. Right now it's 150.3. It has slip reverse. And you can actually put it in reverse. By shift and slip reverse, it's going to make the track, it's going to keep the track going backwards. So the track is currently going backwards right now. And then shift slip reverse takes it back into, if you hit panel, it'll scroll through the different views that you can have within record box. And you have the sync buttons, which you can turn sync on and off. Pad effects. And then shift pad effects. I have different effects set up. I think the big thing that I I am missing is I love on the Pioneer DDJ RZ how on the filter knob you can change it from like filter, like on the controller you can change it from filter, jet, crush, noise, pitch, dub, echo, sweep. I like the jet sound and the phaser sound. Wait, I don't think it has a phaser. But I don't know of a way to go through that. I'll have to read the manual and get back to you. If you know, put it in the comments down below. That would be very helpful to me, because that's something that I like to use for performance. Because now
I can taste all the way to ground when
because I don't have that, I'm gonna keep the filter on this all the time, and I'm probably gonna utilize these effects up at top more. I always have them on, and I just have them at 0, and then I crank them up when I want to affect the sound. I really like the coloring effects of Pioneer versus Traktor. I will say that I tend to not use these as much when I have those coloring effects. I think they're called color effects. Yeah, the color effects on the RZ, there is a whole section or slot, another whole, I guess, row where it has those effects where you can turn on and off, but that's because it's a full mixer. Okay, so there's also a search needle, which is great if you're wanting to, let's say your track's not analyzed and you need to scroll through your track really quickly. Okay, so also the jog wheel has colors, if you can see right here. Right now it's blue because you can set to what deck. That will indicate what deck the color is. And if you go into the settings, under the controller tab of Rekordbox DJ, if you scroll down, you'll see something that says on jog indicator. You can change this to different modes. For instance, on air mode, when the fader is all the way down, the red will not show, but as soon as you pull the fader up, red means you're live. And then same on this channel. So I wish there was a way to change the colors. Like I wish it could go white, just because I think that would be cool if it would go white. But yeah, so you can change that. For now, I think I like the blue color until I figure out. You can also have this way to where when it plays, you could also have it change to the color of the next hot cue. So as soon as, for instance, this track is going, it's not plugged in right now, but you can see it starts off pink, then blue, then green, and then blue again, and then I guess another green, and then an orange, and then a blue, and then a yellow. So as it goes through your hotkeys of the track, it will indicate where in the track you are, but then it goes dark. I wish it would stay like white or something. That would be cool. Maybe on an update, that would be a good update, Pioneer. Very cool. But for right now, I am going to set it to deck selection indicator. So that would be, if you have it set to a CDJ, it's going to turn off. If you have it set to deck 4, it's going to turn white, which I wish it was just always white, and then deck 1 and 2 are going to be blue, like so. Okay? But I like how also you can, the pads, you probably can't see it, but are RGB. And so that way, when you look at your hotkeys are going to be different colors, and that will help you be more visually aware of where you are and where you need to. I also like the handles. It has this little indentation so you can grip it by the handles, and you don't have to grip it by the sides to lift it up, and it makes it easy to lift up. Thank you so much for joining me of my review of the Pioneer Ddj Rr. Stay tuned for part 2, where I compare the Pioneer Ddj Rr to the Traktor S4. My name's Megiddo. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.